Me. So welcome everyone to call number, I lost count. I think we're at, yeah, six. Is it six? Six with 4 to go. And this is, no, this would be 7 and 3 to go. The things that are important. We were just talking about the trannies that are left and remaining, and there's 4 of them. So this is called 7. And it's so interesting, the energies that a day can bring that you're aware of as things change around the planet, as things change with you. So how many presumptive realities do you have about who you are, what you are, where you are, when you are, when, what, where, why, how? Any other one? I think that's it. You are. Because if you start to look at that energy of all those presumptive realities of who, what, where, and when you are, the moment you start to be aware of that there's a new possibility, things are going to get weird. So everywhere you're still holding on to those presumptive realities of who, what, where, when, why, and how you are, that keeps you from actually allowing you to be aware of the other choices and spaces that you have available. Will you destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. Ooh. So how many presumptive realities do you have of who, what, where, when, why, and how you are that keeps you from being and accessing all the 9 trannies? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And all the need of reactive realities. Well, I'm just so you all know, I'm still playing, exploring, and getting hit in the face with this whole thing of needing of reactive realities. It's like, so I've been looking in my life going, wow, you know, what am I choosing to create that has me justify or give reason to the choices I'm making, or what I think I can be, what I think I can create, and all of that. So how many needs of reactive realities do you have in place to maintain the no 9 trannies that you are choosing? Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Okay, again, so how many presumptive realities and need of reactive realities do you have of what, when, who, where, why, and that you are, that I was going to say limit, but it's more like hide the 9 trannies from you. Yeah, and everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Cool. There's something there just kind of all unraveling. It's interesting. One of the things that I recently heard in a different way, Gary, I think it was Gary, that was talking something about bodies exalt. Oh, what can I not change with my body? And I thought, why is he asking that? And then I got, oh, I have been looking at, okay, body, what else can I choose? What else can I create? Like what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to have this or that, be that? But the willingness to ask a question, to have more awareness, is that exploration of going, okay, like what point of view do I have here? What do you believe or think, or what that's actually available and possible for you in your body? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Because it's this place of like, if the filter we have from our presumptive reality, so you have presumptive reality, your presumptive reality, but if underneath that is this reality, right? Or your presumptive reality, many of us create that so we can try to function or fit into this reality. So that presumptive reality, the 9 trannies, it's like you get to play within this reality, but it's not through the reality, this reality domain. Does that make sense? Like when you talk about translocation, let's look at that one today. Moving from one place to another. Who can type it in? But translocation, moving from one, oh, there it is. Moving from one, ability to move from one location to another without the need of a bus, train, car, plane, any of that. The ability to move some translocation, that was time migration. So translocation, sorry, is the ability to move something from one place to another without physical force, such as using your hands, right? So when you look at it from this reality and you look at science, you look at like all of that, it's like, that's not possible. So then where do you look at from? Where do you go to actually perceive what's true for you, what's possible for you, if it's not through this reality? So you start to notice, it's like, because how much of that AI, the artificial intelligence, it's going to pull you to try to justify and give reason to what it is that you know is true. So how many of you find yourself knowing something's possible? You don't know how, but you know. And the moment someone asks you, well, how do you know that? They ask you to justify, to give reason to, and then you grapple with, how do I put that into words? What do I say? And how much does that then limit what you could be choosing, acknowledging, and receiving, and having, and being? That's beyond this reality. Okay, so everything that all brings up for all of you and me, will we all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So how many of you are not willing to ask for the magic of the 9 trannies, the magic of being all of you as an infinite being, because it doesn't make sense in this reality. So you don't even ask for it. So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So translocation, when have you been translocation? When has something, either something has appeared where you're like, I swear I looked there, that wasn't there. And then notice where you go to that reactive reality. Oh, but it must have always been there. I just missed it. Or like, someone put it in or whatever. But you always use the doubt, distractor implant, the need of reactive reality to justify the presumptive reality that you have, that that's not possible. Because you imagine, if you truly acknowledge your translocation capacity, how weird would you have to be willing to be? How different? So anywhere you have anywhere you're avoiding to be found for the capacities and magic you be. So you won't expose them to you, let alone use them to your advantage. Will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So funny, I have to share a short story that just popped, and I was like, okay, now, interesting. But it's like where we have these capacities we don't even know we have. I was out and about with some friends late one night, and there was this one guy who's like, "Will you speak Spanish?" And so I would, and his whole body and being would get so excited. I was telling some friends, I was like, I had no idea that this was like a superpower, and I have not been using it to my advantage. But it's everybody else around me was like, duh, Sylvia, your accent's another language, but it's like, how many of us have these capacities and we don't even realize the potency and the power of them? We hide them from ourselves. We make them a wrongness, right? I grew up at a really young age in Northern California where speaking another language was wrong. So I hid it for a long time until I realized, wait, I have an advantage here. So I would translate and do all sorts of things. But how many of you are not acknowledging the potency, the power, and the advantage you have with choosing to be all of you, which would invite all the 9 trannies. So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And for many of the things that you probably have had show up in your life with being translocation, there's probably moments where you shared it with someone. How many of you share it with someone? They're like, and they might not say anything, but their heads go like, oh, she's crazy. Like that was there. Oh, you're so silly. You're so, all those names that were told as kids, like, oh, you're making things up. That's not possible. So how many of you have resigned to acknowledging what's true for you because no one else validated it? So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all that? And everywhere you bought it as true, and everywhere that was the abuse that you never acknowledged was there, as it diminished your being. Everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So Michelle in the chat is asking, is it only about moving things? So the ability to move something from one location to another. Would you be able to move money from one place to another? I mean, is it only things? Play. This is where, like, I don't know that I have an answer for you, but we can go light and heavy. And you start to play, if I was able to move that bracelet that I didn't know where it was now into my purse, what else could I translocate? So everywhere you're refusing to perceive, know, be, and receive everything that you be, know, perceive, and receive with translocation, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Jesse, so the Federal Reserve just became available to my world. Yeah, I mean, this is, if you haven't seen the X-Men movies, it may be fun to watch them again. If you've watched them or haven't, but to watch them, pick one, watch it, and just notice what you notice different now. There's awareness that you have. I mean, how many of you watch some of these movies and at the end you're like, yes, like, you know that's possible. You know, it inspires something of what it is that you know. So, and play with it. Wow, what ability would I like? Well, if I had that, what would I choose? Where would I go? Exactly. So awesome. Awesome. I hope you have your hand up.
I do. So remember the story I was telling you about how that necklace, well, two things. One, can you guys all send some contributions to my driver's license magically translocationing? I just renewed it like maybe a month, or well, when my birthday was on February 4th. And then like a week later, I was like, where did it go? And so I've been carrying my old one with me, but I keep being like, okay, where is it? Like, what magic? So if you guys would contribute to that.
Can I ask you something about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is there's a couple pieces to it, but are you asking for contribution because you
Or
don't think you can create that and ask for that on your own?
yeah, because I'm like, I've been trying it, Sylvia, and it hasn't been showing.
Yeah. So everything that is, and everything you've gone to conclusion rather to question, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. And this is not that we don't ask for contribution, but start to notice and be curious. Are you asking because you don't think you can?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now, are you willing to play here a little with this driver's license and see?
Yeah. Of
So
course.
cool. So perceive the energy, and this is all of you. If there's something quote unquote you cannot find, you don't know where it's at, you'd like it to come back. So let's play with it. So, okay, for you, the driver's license, okay, perceive the energy of it. Okay, so anything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive, everything that you be, know, perceive, and receive, and allow your barriers to go down even more, to allow you to receive the unfathomable of what's available for you to be, know, perceive, and receive. So everything that is, and everything that brings up, we just try and uncreate it all.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POD, POC, all 9 shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. Okay, driver's license, where are you? And when I ask that, what are you aware of? Where did you go right away? What was the first place you went?
Well, I went to my car, but that's also, I know that's where like I've concluded that it was.
Perfect.
Done a pretty good search of it. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you questions just to kind of begin to unravel where we go. So one of the things, so it's like the moment where you kind of go to your head, right? Sometimes we even do this flip of the eyes because you're going to your head to this reference point of where you think it may be. Not right or wrong. It's just notice that. It's like, and you caught it. You're like, oh, that's where I think it was. Well, that's where I kind of concluded. So, okay. Then you ask a question. Truth. Is it in your car? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's not.
That's not.
And notice that I don't think so. Is that because you already checked? You already scanned it all, turned it upside down, right?
Well, I got like oh wow. What I want to say is no. Is it a yes? It's like one of those where it's like cloudy for lack of a yeah.
Cool. So everything that is and everywhere, and this is like these capacities that we have, that whatever it is that we do to make it cloudy. So all the need of reactive realities to maintain the presumptive reality that someone else could have translocation, but not you.
Yeah.
Will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. I've noticed I've had that with my sister Cindy. I'm all, Cindy, where's my bracelet? Like, oh, and she'll be like, I see it somewhere, da 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 da. Because she has this like quick seeing capacity. But I've caught myself asking her because I have her having a capacity greater than me. Rather than, hey, can we play together? Like, what could we create by like playing with this, whatever it is? So in driver's license.
Yeah.
So again, perceive the item and then scan your space, scan the world. So is it in your house?
That's lighter.
Okay, now see, now go. She didn't go to thinking. Okay, it's lighter. Cool. Now see, ask it to pull you and you pull it. Where are you? This is the capacity to be willing to acknowledge that you can talk and receive from every molecule. Yeah. Okay. And if you don't get anything particular, that's fine. But energetically, did something shift there?
Just sort of this like back corner of my apartment started to kind of pull me.
Cool. Cool. And then you get to play with it. It's like, will you show yourself? Sorry, I'm a little slow. Can you make it more clear or come out from wherever you're at just a little more so I can see you?
Oh, cool. Can I tell you something that's like showing up in my body when we're doing this? There's
Yeah.
almost this like, I don't know if it's my body showing me where I'm going to pathetic, but it's this like, how do I explain the sensation? It's almost like a tickling like down my back, but not like a yummy like SOP orgasmic tickling, but almost more of like a like when you're like falling asleep or going to unconsciousness, or like your arms falling asleep, like that. Like it's really interesting. And when you were asking me about like the light or heavy with the car, it was like really showing up intensely. And it's something that like I don't know, like when it shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like really not willing to be something here, is I think what,
Okay.
yeah.
But notice you went, that's not a question in case it wasn't clear for you. Right. So all the presumptive realities of what you've made sensations in your body mean,
Yeah. Wow.
and all the need of reactive realities to maintain those presumptive realities so you never get to all of you. And all the infinite receiving, infinite being, infinite knowing, infinite perceiving you can totally be. Will you destroy and create all that?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pun pock, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. This is why with things that come up with our bodies, it's like go to question the weirdest, craziest shit. It could be right there at your fingertips if you're willing not to go to the conclusion. But you will never know if you're not willing to be in the question.
Yeah.
So cool. Wow, that's different. What is that? Is
Yeah.
that the energy of the driver's license? Is that what it feels like? Is that something else? But notice those don't go, oh, this is where I go to pathetic, or this is where I go
This
to
is the thing. Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. When I'm almost wondering, is it an entity? It was kind of light.
Cool. And you can start to go to different questions, but truly from the space of, is it this? Is it this? Huh. Okay. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it relevant?
That's really cool.
What are you aware of?
And yeah, sorry, keep going.
Well, the other part that's coming up, it's like everything we've decided and concluded that our awareness feels like, even light and heavy. This is
Yeah.
like, oh no, Sylvia, I thought I was finally getting light and heavy. Now how many of us have already concluded what that is or feels like, or
Yeah. 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 So what is that?
is that still tingling?
It
Or
is. And it's like, it's almost like I can't, oh, you know what it probably is, Sylvia. This is also not a question, but I was going to be like, it's almost like I can't even look at it, which for me is often a sign of where it's actually more of my being that I'm like.
so truth, what capacity with translocation do you be and have that you
Yeah.
have not claimed, owned, and acknowledged?
Yeah. Fuck.
So everything that is and everything that brings up for all of us, will we destroy and uncreate all of that times God's own.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. And what else are you hiding behind you?
Fuck. Can I tell you, like, so last night, my flight was our flight. I don't know if you saw this in the Maestro thread, but basically like, I get up and I had this voiceover session this morning, and then they tell us that the flight is delayed because it needs a part that they don't think they have in Houston. And if they don't have it in Houston, they have to cancel it. And then so I messaged the Maestros and I'm like, calling all miracles. And then they get on a few minutes later and they're like, okay, they're going to try to fix it without the part. It could be a quick fix, or they're going to cancel. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I haven't jumped in, like what you were saying. I was like,
Yes.
I haven't SOP'd this. And because I ended up sitting, looking out at the plane, and I saw it was like this emergency door that wasn't doing something. And so I got like really present and potent, and I SOP'd it. And like within like 5 minutes, they were like, all right, we got the all clear to board. And I was like, fuck.
That's exactly what we're talking about from the very beginning. So how many of you have excluded you and your capacities to what you're asking for and waiting for someone else to do it, be it, choose it, because you don't think you can. So everything that is, and everybody on my team, well, we destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Because this is also that moment where you're like, oh, me, right? When you're asking for contribution, ask, am I also contributing? Am I also in it? Am I here? Am I present?
Yeah, which in that because I was like, but I could still sense this. There's like this space of like, oh, it'll be like, I was like, well, I mean, like whatever. And it was, they'd booked me on another flight. But then the cool thing about it too, that I got to see like the creation of me actually like putting myself in and exploding, that was that the other flight I was supposed to be on that was going to leave that night and get in at midnight, that got delayed to the next morning anyway. So I was like, wow, like if I don't know, but yeah.
You do know. What do you know?
I do know. Everywhere that I do this like fallback plan energy in my life of like, oh, it'll like, it's almost like this, like, it'll be okay.
Okay,
Like,
so everything that is, and all the presumptives of realities of having a fallback plan,
yeah,
like,
backdoor.
or having this pride of, oh, I'm flexible, I can make anything work, rather than having the demand of what it is that you would like to show up.
Yeah.
That potent bitch to say this.
Fucking having this.
So are you willing to be that energy with your bracelet? Keep saying bracelet, my bracelet. Your driver's license. And not from rar, but also like, hey, where are you? That demand that you will have everything that you be, to be aware of what translocation capacity you have. What are you aware of? What could you ask for? What are the whispers? What's there?
Yeah, that's really cool. And podfuck all the notes. Because when you asked that, I was like, no, wow, I'm really not it. It's like shit. Podfuck that.
So how much does this tie into how we started the calls? What presumptive realities do you have of who, what, where, and why you are?
Yeah. And all of, sorry, go for it.
Well, that's the hold that the presumptive realities has. You're all like, I can't even say yes. It's like, no, because if you did, it would dismantle the presumptive reality. So this is so valuable that everything else has to come back to that. So if you actually let go of the presumptive reality of all the stories, all the inventions, all that you have created as you, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
Wow.
Then would you be willing to be anything?
Yeah.
So anything that doesn't allow that times the guts and where you all just trying to create it all.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. So all the presumptive realities that you have invented, adopted, all the artificial presumptive realities that you have as you, who and what and where and why. Who, what, where, when. I should have these written down. Who, what, where, when, why.
And how?
And how you are. Will you destroy and create all that?
Yeah. Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and peons.
And all of the, I'm going to ask this question, then I'm going to go grab my charger so my phone, my laptop doesn't die. But there's something too about like all the presumptive realities we have around not being too potent. Because I'm so aware, like what I know is that when I'm being in my life, like I can create like, like so much. And then I do this thing where I'm like, well, maybe let me just put myself like 20%, 10, 5, 2% in my life today. Like, you know what I mean? And whom I'm in fucking Los Angeles and who am I aware of here too?
And truth, you were just in the changing the issues of abuse. Was that part of the abuse that you received as a kid?
Yeah.
So for many of you, how many of you were you're abused with like, oh, tone it down, don't be too much, don't be too happy, don't be, it's like, oh, stop with your magical things, like, right? So that's abuse of you, your being, and your capacities. It's like everybody around us did the best that they could, okay? But you got to acknowledge and ask, truth, was that part of the abuse? If you go to doubt, if you go to that space of like, oh no, I should just, it was that part of what you grew up with. And if
Yeah.
it is, start destroying and creating all of that and acknowledge the abuse and acknowledge you've always have been that. You always have been too much for everyone around you. It's not a wrongness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many of you have the need of a reactive reality to go to doubt, to go to pathetic, to tone it down, to create problems, to whatever it is that you're creating so you can maintain the rightness of the abuse you received and your presumptive realities and everything that is and everything that brings up where you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pak, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. And I get it. There's moments and the courage, I will repeat it forever, but the courage to actually pak and pod something, to actually be willing to destroy and uncreate it, that is a level of courage that it's almost like I was facilitating my son this morning on something and he was all, and there was something I asked him, and he's like, no, like he noticed he wasn't willing to let it go. And he goes, it's like, then what? Then who am I? So it's like we're holding on to who we think we are or how we think we function and how we think is our way of being, that this is the way I am, or I've always been like this, or whatever that is that's limiting us. So if none of that was true, this is why that invitation, like, what if you lived like the 51st dates and then you woke up and didn't remember yesterday? Who would you be then? Right? But all, yeah. So it's like, wow, like, I mean, just notice for yourself. And it isn't about just throw it all out now. You could be that courageous, but just notice it's like every time you pock and pod something, you are dismantling of the definitions you've been. You start to destroy and uncreate all the presumptive realities and things are going to unravel. So you've got to be willing to go, okay, who can I be now? What will this choice create? What can I ask for? What capacities do I have here that I'm not acknowledging? Yeah. So what else is possible now? Go ahead.
Well, and the other side of this too, is like there's something about like morals, which I know I'm assuming those are also like in with distractor implants. But so I was telling you the story about how I found that necklace at the Airbnb and then immediately went to like, I don't know if it was like a need of reactive reality of, so I've been asking entities for money, and I'd done like an entities and money call with Shannon O'Hara, and I've been like, and acknowledging where like magic money has shown up. And then there's a story that she has about how she walked into this place and there was a diamond ring sitting on the table. And then I was at this Airbnb a few weeks ago and there was this necklace that someone had like hung around a lampshade, and then it was like hanging inside the lampshade and it matched it really well. So it was like so easy to miss. And I've done that with necklaces before. So I was like, oh yeah, someone just hung it here. But then I wasn't willing to receive, like my first thought was like, oh my gosh, an entity left this for me. But then I think I went to that space, which I get might also be part of this trans, or I guess it's maybe different, but anyway, so I was like, fuck, like where am I, like whatever that is, I don't know if I'm just,
Well,
I'm
but notice what she said. Then is, like, and I do that. Like I always leave them. So how funny that it's a place where you always leave them. Like if an entity, I just imagine, right? If an entity was going to leave you something, it's like, where would she look? Where would she like, right? And so, and all of this showed up. And the other piece that Hope didn't mention is that she did turn it in. She did say, hey, to the people that she knew were there before. It's like, hey, did someone leave it? And everyone's like, nope, not mine, not mine. But it's when you allow yourself to go to question, you'll know. So truth, but you got to be willing to let go of your presumptive realities. Because if you have a presumptive reality that it's really not possible, or possible for others, but not for you.
Or like if it was in my apartment, then I could receive it. But if it's like, but I have to do the due diligence, the like this reality due diligence of making sure I know who it belongs to before, you know, like, so if you find money on the ground, you have to ask everybody around you if it's theirs before you can put it in your pocket, like that energy.
And if you didn't ask everyone around you, what would that mean? Who would you be?
Yeah. Like wrong and selfish and there's one more word there, but
A thief?
yes.
Okay, so all the presumptive realities of due diligence, being a thief. What were the others?
Selfish, taking.
Okay, so everything that is and all the need of reactive realities, that all of that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds.
Yeah. Wow.
Like everything you're avoiding and defending around being a thief, not being a thief, what's right about being a thief, what's wrong about being a thief, the due diligence, what it means and who you then are if you do your due diligence and who you are not.
Yeah.
So everything that is and everything that brings up where you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yeah.
Right,
Wow.
wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Because if we have these things in our lives about what's right and wrong, this is why we keep destroying and uncreating the polarity. And if we start to notice like what we make certain things mean, those will limit what you could be aware of when you're asking questions. And that's why presumptive realities are such a big part of what can really transform and change what we have available. It's kind of like, I don't know, bigger guns or just so much more that we can access. And this is the willingness. Dane, I don't know if you guys are in his dive deep loops. For April, he has some beautiful clearings. And there's one on this, who you be, who you think you are, all these be, what, where, when, because they will limit what you can be aware of. They will limit what you can receive with your question, all of that. So thank you, Hope, because this is I mean, if you guys jumped on late, listen from the beginning, because it's quite a bit of different things. Our tranny for today, just as a reminder, is translocation. And note all the different things that came up with this conversation with Hope. It's like all those places we go to no question, right? We go to conclusion. Everywhere we like back up, everywhere we're not including ourselves in the ask and all that we be. So I always wonder, it's like, what else is available for us? You know, the gift of having this series and you choosing it and being in questions like, okay, what else is possible for all of us?
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me know what shows up with your driver's license. And yes, would we all contribute for her, that driver's license to show up with ease? Yeah, cool. And what a gift your driver's license has been to the series. So thank you, driver's license.
Thank you, driver's license.
Yeah. It's like if nothing was wrong, everything contributes. Everything. Yeah.
Can I say one more thing to that too? Because this piece with the necklace too that I've noticed myself doing is making myself wrong, like now for not having just received it. And which I get is not actually or like, oh my God, did I turn, and I know this is probably just my mind being absolutely utterly insane, but like, oh, did I turn down magic and now the universe isn't going to give me more, like whatever, all that.
Okay. So is that where the artificial intelligence comes in now to pull you back?
Yes. Oh,
Okay, you got to be aware of that. And then you have a choice. How much energy are you going to give it? because it is going to pull you out of the new space you're being, the new space of your ask, what you're willing to receive, and it will come in. So
Cool.
all the AIs that you're using to justify all your nors to maintain your presumptive realities, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, pobats, and beyonds.
Wow. Wow. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's got my back kind of funny too. So it's like, wow, what else are we all hiding behind us? We haven't acknowledged. And if you didn't hide that behind you, what if we invited it to just come around, come to the front. Ding, ding, ding. Oh. Yeah, cool. All right, we have Marieke. Did I pronounce that right? Marieke.
Actually, it's German, Mareike.
Marieke.
Yeah. Hey,
I should have
Sylvia.
that forewarning before. Your names will be butchered to be a Latin twist. No,
Well, that sounds actually appealing in a way. I mean, since yeah, German always sounds so harsh in a way, so why not giving it a Latin touch?
awesome. What's your question?
I was actually I wanted to share an awareness. I just had the week after the last call. I was playing a bit with the elementals, particularly with gratitude. And since a couple of days, it's just like, I don't know how to say that properly or to acknowledge it properly, but it's truly like magic. It's like really money is showing up like crazy, like from sources I wouldn't have expected it at least. Like for
Okay,
instance,
I'm going to stop you right there because we almost want to like just go quickly through it, but she chose to be and do something different. Like that's what I'm hearing. You're like, all right, I'm going to add this elemental of gratitude.
yes, yes.
And now acknowledging what's changed. It's like, oh, wow. But really like, this is a beautiful gift to all of us. It's like, it's not hard work. We keep making it hard.
Not at all. And I'm just so grateful. It's just like, wow, within 2 days, I made about $700 without doing anything.
Ah, so were you being something different though?
Yes, yes. I've been grateful just since a couple of days, truly like into my backbone. Like it's like every molecule of me is in a grateful state of mind in a way. And and it's kind of like related to what we've been talking about last week a lot, because I allowed myself to kind of like switch off my head in a way to nurture my body a lot. It's not logic at all. I just decided to have new cats, and since then I feel a lot of gratitude. And it's not logical, but since then money is coming in.
Yes. Amazing. Awesome. And it won't be logical, but how many of you still
No,
go to your logical mind for the need of reactive reality to justify and give reason how something shows up rather than it just showed up?
yeah, and I'm so grateful. And since playing with this gratefulness and kind of like at the same time joy is increasing, and at the same time creation is expanding.
What do you know? Ooh, and it's this piece right now too with the end with hope. It's like, oh, like, thank you, driver's license. Do you guys get the gift of the driver's license, disappearing for a while? It's like, oh, what that gifted all of us right now. It's like,
Yes.
keep putting things in category. This is awful. What am I going to do? And it's just like, all right, this is where the tools that we've had all along contribute more to shifting that so we can then receive and play with the elementals, which right about me, I'm not getting. What's
Yes,
right about this? I'm not getting. Yes.
and this is what I'm wondering about. This is just like, how much are the 9 trainees also interrelated with the elementals in a way that kind of like it's like a trans, how do you say that? It's like expanding the ability to be the 9 training a lot more. I would never have expected that to be that way. And I'm really celebrating this.
Yes. This is, and I remember when they first came out and we had, I mean, Gary now has a list of maybe some of them, but it's this, like they've been there. He knew there were other elementals. He didn't have them, at least not that he shared at that time, of what they were, but there was an energy, something there that was contributing to everything showing up with speed, and ease. But you have to be willing to be out of your head, to be out of judgment, out of conclusion, like that, out of control. Yes, all of that. And when you're willing to have that, then yeah, that's when you can receive so much more. So how much more did your receiving increase by choosing to play with gratitude and be gratitude?
It's so expensive, and I am just so puzzled by this underestimation of gratitude, particularly. It sounds so, ah, well.
And I wonder with translocation, so for all of us, with this example of hopes, it's like, okay, how many of the elementals can you invite to contribute to? Right? And I'm going to see if I can find, so some of the elementals, so they are some: gratitude, allowance, happiness, silence, joy, possibility, peace, laughter, kindness, patience, humor, lust, and dedication to creating a future. So it's like, all right, elementals, what can you contribute here? Would you like to come play?
Yes. In my awareness, joy is also a kind of like an elemental that kind of like expands the particularly translocation, in a way that whenever I'm looking for something, if I just being, like focused on it, like where is it, it's never showing up. But if I just regard it as a play and go about it joyfully, like for instance, I did have my boyfriend was going to holidays and he missed a little pocket, and he was just like, where is it? This belt like things you can store your wallet and everything inside, just wearing around your waist, and he was not finding it. And I didn't even know where it was. I was just asking for it, and I was going around, and I knew that the wardrobe was pinging, and then I opened it, and I found it within, let's say, 5 minutes. But it was just a game, and I was like,
Yes.
what am I going to get if I find it?
And then how much did you invite him to the play that also invited him to receive it? Because how many of you have been willing and are these 9 trannies, but you have people around you that aren't willing to receive them. So you don't allow yourself to have them show up. What would have been different? It'd be like, oh, you're crazy. I'm not going to give you anything. I can't find it. And it's lost, Notice that energy. And you're like, well, it's not even fun for you anymore, right?
Yeah.
But this willingness to acknowledge that play, how many of you, play with different things and then they show up? So everywhere you've made any of the 9 trannies significant and hard.
Yeah, see, I get this, and I'm just wondering how much more I can play with this, and keep the play going like a running gag or something.
That would sound awful. Don't do that. Yeah. I wonder. You imagine your life being, play. That's
Yeah,
like
I'm
that
so
childlike wonder, right? When you have that childlike wonder what we can create today. Wow, what can I translocate that I've been looking for, don't even know that I'm looking for? Maybe it's a sexy time with someone. Maybe it's a delicious meal. Maybe it's a beautiful sun. You know, it's like, it could be so many things. Like, are you willing to have everything you're asking for show up with total ease? Translocation.
Wow. Oh yeah. Oh wow. That I mean, I'm trying. I think I'm still trying to make it significant in a way to define it somehow. But as you pursue talking, it's just like, wow, what else is possible there? It's just like, yeah,
That will be the question that will continue opening up to more. Because notice now you have this gratitude and plans, and if you like receive that, acknowledge that, and wow, what else is possible now? And just keep asking that. It won't take away from what you've already chosen, what's already shown up, but let's explore what else is possible. You exploring that may be what opens it up for the rest of us, whether you share it on a call or not.
oh wow. Oh, wow. What a contribution this could be. I mean, I'm just like, I feel like getting really excited about this. Like my whole body is vibrating and like, woo, let's go explore. I mean, it's right now in Germany, it's already 9:30, so it's actually time to go to bed, but I'm wondering whether I could be able to sleep after the call or whether I'm going around the house and exploring more things.
And what if that is more the energy of who we be, that adventure, that tingling, vibrating of gifting and receiving from everything? Because at some moment, when you were talking about this story about finding that pack for your husband, you said, I don't know where it's at. Was that true? Or did you always know where it was at?
Actually, I know that somehow I do have this gift of knowing where things are. I even found my car key in my neighbor's apartment, even though he swore because he borrowed my car and he said, I swear I returned the key to you. And I said, no, you didn't. And I will find it.
Yes. So what else do you know you haven't claimed, owned, and acknowledged? Because you're
Wow.
not supposed to know it.
Yeah.
All the I don't knows that all of you have used as your presumptive realities and need of reactive realities, will you destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, fun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds.
Yes, and it's a similar story to Hope's story because I always got to hear that don't take yourself too important, don't be so noisy, don't be this much out of the ordinary, and yeah.
Don't think you're too much. Don't think you're all that. Yep. Don't be conceited. Don't be greedy. Like all those terms that we thought, oh, conceited means you actually have joy with you and like you, right? Like, oh, okay, I won't have that.
Yeah.
Greed that you're willing to ask and you receive. Oh, don't have that. Like notice all the things that have been used with this moral part of let's make you a good human that we've been using to limit our infinite receiving, being, perceiving, and knowing. That's why with Gary, I'd love it. He's all, you guys are just a bunch of know-it-alls. But we're not willing to be. So we always say, well, I don't know. And yet you do. So that's why if you catch yourself, if that's in some cultures, I noticed that they go, it's like this automatic, oh, well, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wow, it's such this habit of the way they speak. So if that's there for you and you are one that says, I don't know a lot, put something in place to remind yourself and shift it. Start to go, okay, if you catch yourself, I don't know. Okay, what do I know? And anything that doesn't
Yes.
allow me to know, puck and pod, what do I know?
And now, right now, I perceive an energy that's coming up, which could be described as a fear, but it's not truly a fear. It's just like this that comes together with oh, what if I am going to be punished for this, for being that too much, that too this, that too that. I mean,
So,
not in a physical way, but in a verbal way, like being, judged,
so is that
being
part of the abuse? Is that part of the AI? Like, notice that there doesn't invite you to be greater and more of you.
not at all, no.
So all of that, all the artificial intelligence, all the abuse, all of that that's you've put in place, that's been put in place. Yep. So that you would never have the greatness of you. Will you all destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion for all eternity? Right,
Yes.
good and bad, pun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. This is where that muscle of your demand to create a future for you, that demand, you have to be willing to be aware of those energies, thoughts, that shows up. Because you got to ask, wow, is that the AI? Because you have this lightness, right? And then something else shows up and you're like, what the heck? Not in my party. And it's going to take practice. Because
Yes.
and they may get stronger, but you got to be willing to follow what's true for you in the lightness. And it's like, there's been moments that it feels like I have to tear it out of my head and pull it out to question, wait, is this true? It's like, nope, bye. Nope. And I got to quickly take action to create something else, whether that means get up, 10 jumping jacks, or get up, go outside. I have to move, because to sit in it still has this realness to it, that maybe it's part of the virtual realities, vibrational virtual realities, where how many things were implanted for us to loop back to the limitation that we think we are, rather than to the greatness of us. So it's going to take practice. So you got to be willing to put something in place, a reminder. You join calls like this, like at least, almost every week, we're like reminded. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. There is something greater. Okay. I'm sure many of you have different recordings, audio loops, whatever it is. Sometimes for me, with a lot of the classes, like I put on some music and it's a different energy. But now I've been also aware of music and certain movies, like the implant in those as well. So it's like, okay, interesting. Okay, so if you're willing to be in question, what would contribute right now for me to have more space of me and all that I know, being, perceive, and receive? What can I choose? Body. You started off by saying you're including more of your body. So how much is also your body contributing to you? I worked a lot yesterday. We had an event in the weekend. And then today I had the thought of going out, and I haven't been out of the house because I've been working, and, we have a lot of things going. But it's like, all right, my body's all, please. So let's, what is it for you? What is that reminder of the lightness and the space that you know that you be? And when those things come up, ask truth. Is this true? Or is this part of the AIs, part of whatever that's just trying to bring me back to the limitation so I can be controlled, so I can have doubt and all the distractor implants? You guys realize how out of control you would be to acknowledge the greatness of you. No one could say anything or do anything to diminish you.
Yes, and this is one part of me is really excited about it, but one part of me is also really scared in a way that.
So everything that is, and everywhere you have creating any coping mechanism to compartmentalize you, so you would never totally allow you to have all of you and the greatness of you, the 9 trannies and everything greater, even beyond that. Will you destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So how many of you, and all of you, all of us, all the coping mechanisms to try to fit into this reality, our family, so that we would never be different, 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 different. So all the coping mechanisms, everything you may have separated and compartmentalized to try to make it easy for you to be with everyone else and everything else. Is now the time to destroy and uncreate all of that with what you
Yes.
know, be, perceive, and receive. Okay, and everything doesn't allow it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyond. So now see if you can find that energy of one part of me and another part of me. Is that still there? Is it different?
Definitely more calm inside now, and no, cannot really distinguish.
Cool. So something's changed.
Something definitely is changed, and then I just feel like giggling.
Please never hold back a giggle if you're with me.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And on the chat, it says, hope so. Yeah, I've been looking so much about compartmentalization. So the way, and it's interesting because we'll hear ourselves speak in this way where, that's so funny. I just found myself, I'm going to share it out loud because it's this 9Trannies. Right now, going into Hope's world so much that the energy of my mannerisms, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I did this and then I did something else. And I'm all, that's Hope. Wow, that's cool. What a capacity. So is it her coming into me? Is it me going into her? But it's like, it's not a wrongness, but how many of us start to duplicate certain things as we're tapping into someone or something? Anyway, so it's just really cool. I had to share it. It's like, wow. All right. If you find yourself sounding and acting like someone else, you may want to ask questions of what you're actually creating with that. And if that's actually creating what you'd like to create.
Does this help with other people too? I mean, I just have this lovely man at my side who's kind of like into another person. He's kind of like, yeah, kind of like almost duplicating him in a way. And then I realize when he's getting into that, and then when he's acting like him, when he's acting, you know, kind of like phrasing him, and I'm always just like, well, who are you right now?
And you could have fun with that, like give him a nickname. Huh, it looks like you're being so-and-so. Or you can ask, what would be fun for you? How could you be an interrupter?
Yeah, but he makes it so significant and it's so serious. Whenever he goes into that role, it's so funny. To me, I really have to.
That kind of.
Yeah, but to me it's pretty obvious, but not to him, obviously.
Well, what could you play with there? What could you say, be, or do? And what would be fun for you? And if it was not about the wrongness of him choosing that or getting him to be aware of, what would be fun for you? You can have a
Oh,
capacity. What's his name?
Tim.
Tim. Will the real Tim show up? You can ask
Oh,
that before you go, see him, or just within, in your head or whatever, not even out loud. It's just just like we were all playing with Hope and her driver's license. What if you could just kind of go, where is that Tim? Hello, hello.
I love that question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, play with it and let us know. I wonder,
Yes,
and sometimes you have people in your lives, like your kids, you're like, are you being your dad again?
true.
Who are you being? Could be as simple as that. And they'll get pissed, and then you kind of do wedgie and walk. But what would be fun for you? Play with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So back to this piece before your question, Jesse, compartmentalization. Well, notice the word when you put things into compartments, like, okay, this is how I see it. Here go my screwdrivers, here go my pins, here go my rubber bands, and it's all done for what? What's the purpose of compartmentalization? I was surprised I could even say the word. I would always mess it up.
Is it like a separation and gosh, I just saw where like if you cut yourself into all these different parts and pieces and separate them, then you don't actually get to act as like the being of you altogether, like act in your like.
So Jenny, is that a definition you found? She said putting things into small boxes so that the entirety is not available, the oneness.
That's what came to my mind.
Ah. Can someone look up the definition? But imagine that, putting everything into small little boxes or into sections so you never have the entirety.
Yeah.
So has that been a coping mechanism? Like, okay, I can handle this much, but hold on, like, let's separate. The lady in Colombia that I ran MTVS on her, but there was a little facilitation before. She had no movement in her legs before the body process. And then after, she started to have movement. But one of the things we had cleared in class with one of her questions was where she was compartmentalizing. She had disconnected parts of her body and the flow and connection in between it. And I get that clearing that and then the body, like all of it contributed, but she's now willing to receive more from different parts. Yep.
Did you see Stella dropped the
Okay. What does it mean when someone reviewed by Psychology Today staff? Compartmentalization is a defense mechanism in which people mentally separate conflicting thoughts, emotions, or experiences to avoid the discomfort of contraction.
a contradiction?
Contradiction. Thank you. To separate something into parts and not allow those parts to mix together. So, well, now a new question that just popped. So has that been a coping mechanism, or is that part of the implant of the vibrational virtual realities? That the presumptive reality is that in order to deal with someone or something, you have to compartmentalize so you can handle this reality.
Yeah, well, I was like, wow. And like, if we could actually acknowledge the capacity there.
Go for it. What do you got?
Well, so I just, because I asked this question, or this came up in BYCF, Dane facilitated me a little bit about this as well. And it's been something that, so like, I wonder, like, if we were to acknowledge the capacity to, which is almost like part of trans.
Consciousness is a baby. Yes.
Like transformation in different places to keep them separate, which would be a lie because it doesn't actually exist. Like,
okay, it's a lie. Your driver's license, quote unquote, it's a lie that it's separate from you. Keep going.
Cool. Yeah. And like, what a massive fucking capacity that actually is. So if we were to take out, because I know when I look at compartmentalization for myself, a lot of times there's like a little bit of that, like, oh, why am I doing this? But if I take out any amount of the victim from it and go, boom, like what fucking potent capacity is this? How much more access does that give me to all of me?
And all of everything.
Yeah.
All of everything.
And there's something here too that's almost like how much did we do this to actually separate, like, okay, wait, so I just saw like you're a kid and something's happening and you have the potency that could change it all, but if that's been like squashed in the past, like how much do you actually compartmentalize where you can and can't use your potency? This isn't totally light, but the bigger, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, and thank you, because notice as Hope's talking, she's willing to be aware of the energy where it's light and then where it got heavy. That is your monitor for like, oh, this is going to what's true. This is going to something else. So, all right, not that. So what else? What else? But that element that you're saying of when you start to notice that whether this lifetime or another lifetime, How many things have we hidden? How many things have we separated for whatever reason to be able to handle, to survive, to whatever we thought we needed it for? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I wonder if we actually hid them so that we could have access to them. I just started to play with everything as the opposite of what it appears to be with it. So I don't know, there's something like almost like with consciousness, like where we hid it.
Is
So-
now, what are you aware of? Is now the time to pull in everything you be, know, perceive, and receive, all the capacities and awareness that you've been hiding from you. Yes. Whether
Yeah.
it be in the back or below, wherever. Yeah. In the depths of what you say, I don't know. How much is that a compartment of I don't know, so you don't go there? So all the I don't knows, all the areas of what you have not claimed, owned, and acknowledged, and all the presumptive realities in need of reactive realities there, maintaining any of that is now the time to change it.
Yes.
All right, and anything that doesn't allow that, all of you, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And I'm getting, is it 9? What numbers are popping? All of a sudden, it's like, oh, this is a potency for a number.
Yeah. Are we allowed to do lock and keys? Like I keep getting lock and key.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
I don't know what the okay, so everywhere, I don't know, right, wrong. But so is it just I am the lock, my body is the key, we are the locks, our bodies are the keys, our body, I am the lock, my
Yeah.
body is the key.
Okay, so everybody, let's do it together. So I am the lock.
I'm the lock.
Bodies are the key. My body's the key.
Body
Keep
is
going. We're gonna say it with you.
okay, cool. I am the lock.
I am the lock.
My body is the key.
My body is the key.
I am the lock.
I am the lock.
My body is the key.
My body's the key.
Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Destroy all locks and keys and decompartmentalize our bodies and beings throughout all eternity.
So now is the time to decompartmentalize all, no, now is the time to destroy and uncreate all the locks and keys to decompartmentalize.
All of our, all parts of our bodies and beings throughout all realities.
And all eternity. Yep, okay. Right and
Anything else
wrong.
that's required.
And anything that doesn't allow that, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Ooh,
That was so cool.
that was cool.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but getting to work on film production stuff with Access has been it's shown me so much about where I fucking compartmentalize my capacities and where I think I can show up with them and where I can't. Because in coordinating, I'm such a fucking bulldozer. And I'm like, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. And not like to, you know, a 100% degree, but and then I was seeing when it came into the world of Access, I was like, wow, where have I not been willing to be that energy with consciousness even? Fuck! All right.
And this is that element the Marieka, I butchered it again, just brought up too, but it's like if you start to have the gratitude for that, it's like your choice to say yes when you were asked to work with a camera, the gratitude to go, wow, that choice you chose, invited me to now be aware of something. And the gratitude goes like, wow, thank you, camera. Thank you, choice. Thank you, me. I now have more of me and I'm aware of where. And so now a new adventure starts because you will notice it where else you do that.
Yeah. And can I add one more thing to this too? Like, so I just saw too where it's not even Access, but it's consciousness where I haven't been willing to be that bulldozer of possibility and consciousness. And so how much with the evil call and that conversation, am I still keeping any part of me or most of me, like whatever that is, that potency out of consciousness itself, because I've decided that I'm so evil that I could destroy consciousness, or for any of us that's.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, now I would say, listen to the evil call. If you guys, I think that was spread out in many different ways as pre-listen material for some classes. But
If any-
now,
Well, I was gonna say, if anybody doesn't have it, I can find, I think Dane put it up as like a shop item on his website. So we can also, I can pop and see if I can find it there too. But yeah, it was like almost every single ESB class and SOP and most of Dane's things have had it. If you were in, I was gonna say Monsters and Miracles, but what was the other one?
I just put up the clearing there. Let's see if I got it right, or you can, if you can add to it. Thank you, Hope. Yeah.
Thank
What else
you.
is possible now? Yeah. I love it. The class, the calls that I'm like, I have no fucking idea what today's call is gonna be. Fuck, maybe I gotta do that more often in my life. I have no fucking idea what I'm gonna choose and be and have today. I'm just so grateful because it allowed just, me getting out of the way and showing up. What if life's like that? Show up, just show up. Next step, next choice, next question. Judgment wants to creep in. Nope. Show up. Next question. Next choice. Show up. Elementals. What can you contribute? Which ones can I enlist to add more to all of what I'm choosing? All right. Next choice. Show up. Next step. Keep going. Much more lighter in my universe too. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You potent bitch. Not only evil, but potent. Yeah. Miraculous bitch. All right. Yes, that was for you, Hope. Only Hope though, right? Pocket five. All right, Jesse. Go, Jesse.
I don't have much brain left. I didn't start with much brain, so let me see if I can share this. This is not really a question, it's more an awareness of how much knowing and certainty is what actually allows us to be the 9 trannies. Because as soon as you said translocation, the first thing that came to mind was moms. When a mom asks a kid or a husband to go find something and they don't find it, and then she goes and she finds it. She's so certain of where things are that she finds whatever she's looking for, wherever she said that thing was going to be. So how much is not that the thing or the object was there, but that her knowing and her certainty moved it there.
And I would add to that, how many presumptive realities do we have that men of what they can and cannot do or be? How many presumptive realities do you have of what a woman can be or do and what a man can't be or do?
And
Or
kids.
vice versa. So how many of you have projected that on your sons or on you in any other lifetime? And vice versa. So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And this other energy you're speaking about, when you have that certainty, you will have whatever that is. So do you have that for your life, for your creation, for living? Do you have that with everything around you? Or is it just kind of there? It's like, oh, it's just kind of there. I'm exploring that. You would look at my life, my living, and you'd think like, wow, so if you look at what you've created, and it has been with this level of ease, but I'm now looking at it's like, it's all come to me, but now it's like, okay, am I willing to ask for something that's greater and bigger and actually be in creation for that, with that, rather than just allowing it all to come to me? Kind of like a driver's license. Well, can it just show up, please? Rather than like, am I in it here to ask for it, to be that demand that it will show up this lifetime or another lifetime? So this is where if you start to add time to it, you fuck yourself up. Time is not real. So how many of you have been limiting your 9 trannies capacities by still making time real? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And truth, have you truly acknowledged what is here now that you asked for many years ago? Maybe lifetimes ago. What could you acknowledge that has shown up that you asked for? Start to notice, wow, did I ask for this? Yeah. Wow, okay. And acknowledge it, like that gratitude. Okay, cool. Good, bad, or ugly. What would you like to ask for now?
You know what else shows up? That a lot of the times when moms go and find something, they find it out of this energy of proving themselves right
Yeah,
or proving others wrong.
yeah. So is that a type of gaslighting? So all the gaslighting that has been done to you or you have done to others, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
The right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. You know, I would, maybe all moms, not, maybe all different cultures have a different energy, but you know, if we're just looking at, say, Latin culture right now, there is this energy of wanting to protect or help the kids with what we think they can't. So does that empower them or does that disempower them? The willingness to go, well, what would you like to choose? What is it that you know? And then let them choose. That, you know, takes a lot of courage because there's this point, presumptive reality that mothers should take care of their kids, that their kids should not suffer, be sad, or have troubles, that a mother should resolve it all. And that is actually not creating and empowering your kids to have a greater future. I've gotten to see a lot of that with my son recently. He's, you know, made certain choices and life isn't always easy. And it's like, it's a new muscle, man. Okay. You know, I do ask him, just like this morning, it's like, would you like me to ask you a couple questions? And he was like, yeah, he was a yes, but I was also him willing to be a no and not make it wrong. So how many people made you wrong for what you chose that has you doubt your choice and your knowing? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And if you guys haven't seen the gaslighting movie recently, I'd invite you guys to see it again. Gary just brought it up and I thought, oh, I think I could watch that in a whole new way now. Because the whole conversation, I don't usually, I mean, I think all classes are amazing, really, truly. And yet this changing issues of abuse class is one particular energy and possibility that will invite you to perhaps acknowledge abuse in a way you never thought was abuse or that it could change. But there is a level of abuse going on beyond that physical abuse we think is abuse. And many of us, I would say almost all of us, have experienced that and don't even realize it. So my little promotional clip. Let me send you my affiliate link. No. That would be so greedy of me. Couldn't do that. Oh, too funny. All right, Jesse. Anything else?
No, thank you, Sylvia.
You're welcome. So immoral, yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Wow. Well, thank you all. What an amazing call. And I know my space is different, and that's all I could really go with. And I can, you know, if you're looking to define today's call, let it go and just receive it, receive it, receive it. And what else could we receive of who, what, where, and why we be greater than what we have defined ourselves to be? So grateful. Yeah, self-abuse, exactly. None of you do that, I'm sure. None of us do. I never do that. And our next calls, if you received the email, it was in there, and we'll see you on the next call. When is it? Do you have it?
It's 2nd of May. May
Second.
2nd.
I will meet you all the way from Bogota, Colombia on May 2nd. All right. Thank you all. Big hugs. Yes, enlist the elementals to contribute to you and play with them, play with you, play, have fun. All right. Ciao, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.